All right, the one janitor and Richard Spencer. I know that a lot of people have already addressed the strange SJW inclination for endorsing violence in the Richard Spencer case. But this video in particular interested me because the janitor accidentally provided the counterpoint to his own argument.
Well, I'm a little late on this, as usual.
Yeah, you and me both, man. But before we get to the real meat of this video, I want to play this complaint first.
There's just this movement currently whose only purpose seems like it's to be hyper-reactionary to everything progressives say and do.
Oh, is that what it is? Are people condemning an act of violence because progressives don't? Well, let's find out. Now, I'm not going to play his whole soliloquy because you'd have to hear him repeat several things and veer off into the subject of no platforming and also talk about Bill Nye for a little bit. Now, he does talk about the actual subject of his video, too. The famous interview face punch of Richard Spencer.
It's Pepe's become kind of a symbol.
Now, it has to be said that the janitor does not expressly condone this specific act of violence, but he does accept it. And he's kind of wishy-washy about it, but that's actually a problem when you're discussing the acceptance of violence.
So, would I myself punch Richard Spencer in the face? I doubt it.
Well, I would not. And I don't doubt it. I would not do that.
Do I think that if you see Richard Spencer in the street or any other neo-Nazi that you should punch them in the face? Not really.
You shouldn't. Period.
Should the guy that punched Richard Spencer be charged with assault? Probably.
Yes, he should.
But am I okay with the fact that Richard Spencer got punched in the face? Yeah? Fuck that guy.
We agree on part of that. Fuck that guy. I don't like him either.
Kind of a symbol.
Fuck that guy.
That is fun to watch. But am I okay with random acts of violence? No. Now, a lot of the time people worry about putting people out of context because it's unfair and because it makes the other person look bad. But what you just saw, the end of the janitor's comedy routine, that makes him look better than it should. Because in his video, he actually provides the argument that a random person punching Richard Spencer could be considered self-defense.
But in my view, there are a few things, a very small number of things, but a few things nonetheless that are just simply unacceptable, like advocating the torture of innocent people or white supremacy. Maybe you don't think those things are unacceptable, or maybe you think the list of unacceptable things is much larger than my list. I can only speak from my perspective. We want them to fear the social consequences of being an awful person. Those consequences could include being ostracized or ridiculed, or they could include being punched in the face. But I think it could be argued that some ideas and actions are inherently or potentially violent, even when they don't directly cause physical harm to anyone. Like, I don't know, the idea of ethnic cleansing. And if that's the case, then self-defense might apply here.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit.
Self-defense does not apply here. What would happen if someone applied this formula to another movement? Now remember, different people have different ideas about what is unacceptable.
Maybe you don't think those things are unacceptable, or maybe you think the list of unacceptable things is much larger than my list.
A lot of people think that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist movement, and I don't. It's a radical movement, yeah, but not a terrorist movement. But my views aren't everyone's. A lot of people might take the concept of unacceptable ideas and how self-defense might apply, and then take that to Black Lives Matter. Is advocating for the murder of police unacceptable? How about the killing of white people or of white babies? And yeah, you hear all that. A lot of people could put those things on their unacceptable list and then start punching Black Lives Matter protesters in the face, because that would be self-defense. Now, I say that violence would be terrible. I think that Black Lives Matter is a regressive, misguided, harmful organization, but I absolutely oppose the use of violence against them, even though I oppose them. And my opposition and distaste for Richard Spencer and his fucked up organization is even stronger, but I cannot and will not accept violence against it. You go down that road, and it doesn't stop where you want it to. Do I think that the one janitor and Christy Winters and Steve Shives and the other social justice warriors have to make a point To publicly denounce the punch to Richard Spencer? Well, no. But when I hear people defend it, if I hear people rationalize it, then I remember why I'm not on their side.
There's just this movement currently whose only purpose seems like it's to be hyper-reactionary to everything progressives say and do.
Oh, why do you keep saying the exact opposite of what I say?
Because you keep saying such stupid things.